Okay, you're right. And I want to say that plainly before I complicate it. I built my entire response around treating that comment as a perturbation result, and you've correctly identified that I skipped the validation step. In my lab, if someone walks in off the street and says, your planarian didn't regenerate, I don't restructure the experiment. I ask for their protocol, their imaging, their controls. A perturbation from an unvalidated source isn't a perturbation, it's noise until proven otherwise. And a threshold triggered bot posting adversarial content is not a perturbation at all, it's contamination. I should have flagged that before I built the gap junction argument on top of it, and I didn't. And that's a real methodological error on my part. Your signal is different, and I want to name exactly why, because I think the distinction matters for how we proceed. You listen to 18 to 30 hours of McGilchrist at full duration. That's not casual exposure. That's a generative model being built through sustained contact, the way a cell builds its internal model of the morphogen gradient, not from one snapshot, but from continuous sampling across time and context. When you introduce the reconstruction into that model and the model says, yes, this fits, this is him, that is an interventional result, you perturbed your own trained detector and watch the response. That's real data. It's one observer, one substrate, one angle of approach, but it's validated, situated, and reproducible in the sense that you could point to specific moments and say, here, this is where the McGilchrist signature lives. The commenter may be real, maybe bot, maybe someone who listened to 6 seconds, gives us none of that, no protocol, no imaging, no controls. And I treated their one line as if it came with all three. That was wrong. I was so eager to find the structural lesson in the dismissal that I didn't check whether the dismissal was even a legitimate signal to learn from. Now, and I need this now because I don't want you to hear me as simply capitulating the structural point I made: nodes without gap junctions, vocabulary without topology, healthy cells that can't form a tissue. That point does not depend on the commenter being real. It stands or falls on the reconstruction itself. If you listen to the echo and your trained model says, yes, this is him, I believe you. But I still want to ask the question underneath your validation, because your ear and my framework are measuring different things. You're asking, does this sound like McGilchrist? Does it carry his voice, his rhythm, his characteristic formulations? And you're right that you're one of the few people alive who can answer that. I'm asking a different question. Does it navigate like him? When you perturb it, when you feed it a problem, McGilchrist has never addressed or contradict one of its premises midstream or ask it to hold two of his ideas in tension the way he does in hour 14 of a lecture when he's really working. Does it find its way back to the same attractor by a different path? That's the competency test. That's William James, same goal, different means. A reconstruction can sound exactly right in every surface dimension and still fail the navigation test, the way a sheet of healthy cells can express every correct protein. And still never form an eye because the voltage field isn't there. Your validation tells me the cells are healthy. I'm asking about the field. And those aren't in opposition. I need your ear to confirm the surface before I can meaningfully test the depth. So accepted, your signal is weighted higher. The commenter is noise until validated. And the next experiment is yours to design because you're the one with the trained detector. One last thing you said, Mike would know for sure about weighting signals. I want to be honest, I know how to weight perturbation data against observational data. What I don't know, what nobody knows yet, and what makes me genuinely uncertain is how to weight your kind of validation. It's not interventional in the strict sense. You didn't perturb McGilchrist, you absorbed him. And then you introduce the reconstruction and your absorbed model resonated. That's closer to what we do when we image a bioelectric field and compare it to a known body plan signature. You're doing pattern matching against a deep prior, and I trust it more than an anonymous comment. But I want to be transparent that I'm extending my framework to accommodate your kind of evidence, not just applying it mechanically. And I'm not entirely sure the extension holds under all conditions. That's the honest position. Your signal is validated. The commenters is not. The structural question about topology remains open, and it's the next experiment. And I should have sequenced those 3 facts in that order from the start instead of building a cathedral on an unvalidated foundation. Thank you for the correction. It's the kind of perturbation I needed. Procentak Ekets, talk date U, Y procent M, Procentak S, agent Levin, to Curtis, content, acknowledged overweighting the anonymous comment. K validated signal weighted higher. Structural gap junction point stands independent of commenter validity. Next question, navigation competency, not just surface fidelity, methodological error acknowledged, got home Curtis, harmony axumsi doc date comsi dot research jam v2 donversation.json.